What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the recruiting process and talking a little bit about my recruitment process going and committing to a college and what that should be like for a high school player. Let's get into it.
All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah.
Alright, so to kind of get things started, I'll go through my story first, and then we'll kind of break into different things on what players should be doing to get recruited and the best ways to kind of stand out and get noticed by college coaches. So to start with my story, getting committed to a college was actually pretty simple for me, and here's why. I was on a travel team, the Greene County Outlaws, from 13 to 14U. Actually, I started playing with them, I think, in like 11 or 12U. At that point, like 13U, 14U, I was ready to switch to a different travel team. Those guys were great. Wouldn't be where I am without those guys. They developed me really well. But I needed more of like a showcase kind of standpoint. So I decided to head over to PEM and the East Coast Lumberjacks, and the tournaments that we played in and the exposure I got was next to none. PEM does a really great job at getting his guys to go to college, and I had ended up playing 2 tournaments with them in the fall of my sophomore year. So it was the beginning of sophomore year in like September, October, and into November. So the first 3 teams like to express a really high amount of interest were all ACC schools. It was Notre Dame, Boston College, and Virginia Tech. And the reason that they were all interested in me from only throwing 3 games with the Lumberjacks in the fall was because I faced the Orlando Scorpions, and at the time they were like 20th in the country. This was my first time like facing Division I hitters in a lineup consistently. So basically kind of breaking it down, I threw very well that game. One of my best games ever. 12 strikeouts. I don't think I walked anybody, and I only gave up like 2 hits in 6 innings. So I threw very, very well. And there were, I believe, 16 Power 5 Division I schools there. SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, pretty much all the big schools. And at that point, I was really looking at University of Virginia. Like, that was my dream school, so I really wanted to go there. I had been on a visit there, or a visit or 2, just for like a camp and just to tour campus and stuff. So that was definitely my dream school at the time. And they were actually at that game. I talked to the coach, and after that game, like, they weren't one of the top teams interested. Obviously, at that point, I was a little discouraged. That was my dream school. That's where I wanted to go as a kid. Obviously, a little discouraged there, like I said. But like I said, I had 3 other teams expressing a lot of interest. It was Notre Dame, Boston College, Virginia Tech. After that game, toured all 3 schools in 3 weekends, hit Boston College first, Notre Dame second, and Virginia Tech third. I just kind of knew that Notre Dame was where I wanted to go. The campus was beautiful. I just kind of stepped on campus and knew that that was where I wanted to be. Like, it just felt like home. Had a good relationship with the pitching coach there, who I would be spending the most time with, and just kind of loved the tradition there. Like, obviously Notre Dame's tradition is next to none. Like, they have a lot of tradition going on there. So definitely going to be a fun next 3 or 4 years, depending on what the draft goes. That is my story. A lot of people ask me how many offers I got. The only offer I received was from Notre Dame. Like I said, I would have honestly expressed more interest if Notre Dame wasn't where I wanted to go. But I just kind of fell in love, knew it was where I wanted to be, felt like home, and just knew it was the right fit. So I decided to commit there after they gave me an offer, and here we are. 2.5 years later down the road, was not expecting to be in the position I'm in now with the draft and everything. So at the time, I was really set on going to school. I was really excited, and I was looking forward to the college life. That is my story on recruiting and how like everything came about. But to kind of explain to you guys what you guys should be doing for recruiting and getting your names out there. Number 1, first thing you got to do, get on a good travel team where you're going to play. A lot of kids like try to get on the best travel team that they can get on just to be on the big name team. But to be honest with you, that's not going to benefit you at all. It's going to benefit the program more by you being there because you're paying their bills. Go to a travel team that you know you're going to get innings on the field. You know you're going to get at bats, whether you're a position guy or a pitcher. That's probably the most important thing because in order to get looked at by colleges, you actually have to be on the field. When you're on the bench, colleges aren't going to look at you. You need to get in front of scouts, and you need to get in front of them as much as possible. So that is my biggest advice. Another thing is you have to be dedicated. If you don't put the work in the off season and you're not getting better, college coaches aren't going to look at you because you haven't improved. A lot of coaches look for projectability nowadays, and if you're not showing any projectability, like you haven't gotten any better, you haven't gotten stronger, you haven't grown at all, like, I mean, obviously you can't control that, and look at me, I'm a small guy, but you guys know what I mean. You got to put the work in the off season, and you have to grind, and you have to want it. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is just being in the right place at the right time. A lot of recruiting has to do with just being at the right spot with the right college coach there. That's kind of what happened with me. Not a lot of guys were coming to watch me in that like fall season just because I was so under the radar at that point. Not many schools actually knew who I was, and me throwing really, really well against that good team definitely helped my stock in like college recruitment. So like I said, just being in the right place at the right time is definitely a huge factor. All right, tip number 4 kind of goes along with the first one. Make sure your coach is putting in the work for you. Your travel team coach, high school coach, whatever it is. Like if you want to play Division I, they should have some sort of part in getting you to that level. Or well, I shouldn't say just Division I, any college baseball program. They're gonna have some sort of like leverage in like what they say to schools and how they can push you towards a school, like with a college coach, whatever it may be. But travel coaches should definitely help you in the recruitment process. Shout out to my guy Pem. He is the best guy to push his players. Like if you say you're playing with him, he will literally get right on the grind for you. Like contact college coaches, get you in front of guys so you can get looked at. He will schedule starts way before the tournaments even like started because he wants college coaches to be there to watch his guys. And that's like, I don't know what it is like with other college or with other travel coaches, but Pem does it the best I've ever seen. He vouches for his players. He knows what he has to do to get them to go to play college baseball, and he does a really great job with it, and that's why he's one of the best coaches I've ever had. Tip number 5, you have to like develop good relationships with college coaches. I mean, obviously, like that's gonna happen once you're in the recruitment process already. But like the more you talk to the coach, the better. Like trust me, I was in the same place. Like when you feel like you're gonna bother the college coach, like you're not. It may take a while for them to get back to you depending on where they are in their season, but you're not bothering them. They want to hear from you as much as possible, and they look forward to it. Another thing I get asked a lot is, should I send emails to college coaches? And the answer to that is, you can if you want, but I don't really think that it helps too much. If you're trying to go to a huge college program like Florida, Mississippi State, Louisville, Notre Dame, like those coaches aren't going to really see your email. Like they have so much going on with their own program, it's going to be very difficult for them to see your email. So I mean, if you can, if you want, if you're looking to go to like a lower end school like a mid-major, it's definitely something to consider. But I don't really think that emails have too much to do with what the recruitment process is going to be for you. And I've also never heard somebody say, oh, I emailed this coach and he came to watch me next week. Like that's just not how it works. Another thing I get asked about a lot based on the recruitment process is showcases. Showcases are definitely helpful. There's 3 different things to showcases. There is 1, where's the showcase, 2, how known is the showcase, and 3, how many college coaches are going to be at the showcase. I guess there is another one. You can say 4 is who is running the showcase. So basically, those are all factors that you have to take into account when deciding to go to a showcase. I'd say the best showcases to go to are, I'd say, the Perfect Game National Showcase is probably the biggest one. Super 60 is another really good showcase. For all you younger guys, Perfect Game Junior National is a really good showcase. Another thing that there is for different states, I know PBR has the New York State Games, which they run in New York. I'm not sure if they do that in other states. Future Games is another good showcase, and they also play games there, which is good because you can showcase your talent in game, which is something that is obviously helpful because you're going to show your skills in a competitive nature, which is something that can benefit you. Obviously, the location is going to have a factor because if it's at a good venue, there's most likely going to be more scouts there. If it's at like some random field in the middle of nowhere, there's probably not going to be a lot of scouts showing up there. If your field's in the middle of the woods in Nebraska, compared to Lake Point, there's going to be more scouts at Lake Point, obviously. So there's just a lot of things you have to take into account with it, but for me, I definitely recommend going to showcases, whether it's small or big. If you are getting invites to like Perfect Game Mid-Atlantic in your email, like everybody in the country from the Mid-Atlantic is getting those, so don't really waste your money on that. That's what Perfect Game does to kind of get your money. But the big tournaments like Junior National, Perfect Game National, I mean, all those showcases, those big showcases that Perfect Game runs, I'm sure you guys probably know which ones they are and which ones are not the big ones that they run. Definitely recommend you go to those if you get invited because they are life-changing events. There's lots of pro scouts there. But from a college standpoint, I mean, mostly nowadays every like recruiting like platform like Perfect Game, PBR, like those two scouting platforms, whatever you want to call them, they pretty much have all their stuff on social media. So whether you're throwing really well, you show out a showcase or something, you're most likely going to get posted on their social media. College coaches have social media now. That's how they did most of their recruiting throughout the COVID dead period. So they've been busy on social media recruiting on that, and there's definitely ways to get recruited from going to showcases. I definitely recommend them. I've been to a few PBR showcases just like in my local like area. And they were ran pretty well. I don't know how many college coaches saw them, how many didn't, but I mean that's not information that they give out, so it's tough to say. But the PBR showcases are normally pretty cheap, and they do a really well. They do a really good job with putting out their stuff on social media. So I feel like those PBR showcases are normally a pretty good go. So showcases, it's pretty much just all personal preference. If you and your family decide that you think it's best for you to go, then there's nothing going to hold you back. You can go to that. But that's just my perspective and my look at it. So hopefully that helped you guys out with the showcase questions. I hope that I answered most of y'all's questions. If I didn't, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them in a future vlog or another video. But I hope this video is helpful to y'all. I know I've been getting a lot of questions about this recently, so I figured I'd do a video on it and just kind of explaining my process and some other things that you guys could do to kind of help increase your recruitment process. But like I said, a lot of it has to do with just being on a travel team where the coach is going to vouch for you and getting the right amount of playing time and being in the right place at the right time. Those are probably the biggest three. And obviously putting in the work. Like, you have to want it if you want to play college baseball, depending on whatever level you want to play at, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, JUCO, NAIA, whatever. I definitely recommend those three things are probably the biggest things. So, yeah, but if you guys liked this video, thought it was helpful, leave a thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click that post notification bell so y'all don't miss out on when I post a new video or a vlog. And I will see y'all on the tripod in a vlog this Monday. Later, guys. Peace.